Most Americans believe in intelligent life beyond Earth. Few see UFOs as a major national security threat. As an unprecedented U.S. intelligence report brings new attention to the phenomenon of unidentified flying objects, about 2/3 of Americans, 65%, say their best guess is that intelligent life exists on other planets, according to a Pew Research Center survey conducted just before the release of the government assessment. According to a Gallup poll, 1/3 of Americans think some UFOs that people have spotted have been alien spacecraft visiting Earth from other planets or galaxies. A 60% majority, however, believe all such sightings can be explained by human activity or natural phenomena, while an additional 7% are unsure. This information gives us a rough idea of how many people believe in UFOs. And within that population, we have a small percentage that are convinced of an impending alien invasion. A few of those individuals also believe that this invasion will be a grand hoax. So let's talk about what the governments around the world are doing behind the scenes and in the mainstream media, movies and television, and more importantly, what they've been hiding. You see, right now is a good time to pay attention to what is being described in the mainstream via television shows, movies, even late night talk shows. You're going to see the truth come out where you would least expect it. You're looking at the serious adaptations. You should be looking at these things that are not so serious, like comedies. Patton Oswalt, who is a pretty popular comedian, said something on the Jimmy Kimmel show not too long ago. They were discussing UFOs, and Oswalt tells the story of his dad, who was a test pilot in the Marines, and about how his dad would spot strange glowing orbs surrounded by metallic cages, objects that his commanding officer was well aware of, and then the conversation was quickly changed. Now, I found this very interesting because Oswalt described something that we have heard of before. Do you know where? There is a biblical account given by Ezekiel. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When those went, these went. And when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. When you hear that description, then you look at these renderings of that description, then you hear testimony from pilots. Then you see footage like this, and notice the outlining shape of the object. This is very telling because scripture is basically telling you that angelic beings are behind the workings of these types of craft, according to Ezekiel. So last month, the Pentagon's document was released. 9 pages. 9 pages. Now, what would the Pentagon be able to say in just 9 pages? It's not even 9 pages. The report is only a few pages. So this document is not an explanation. Unidentified aerial phenomena. In scope and assumptions, they say the idea here is to provide policymakers with the means to better catalog potentially threatening UAP. In the executive summary, they highlight the fact that there is no real reporting system or standard of procedure when it comes to UFO encounters. In other words, whenever a pilot saw a UFO and reported it, the report was obscured. So now they've come up with this list of 5 categories to place UAPs in. Airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, USG or US industry developmental programs, foreign adversary systems, and a catch-all other bin. Here they state that many of the reports they do have are inconclusive, even with the sensor technology they have, like radar and radio frequency sensors. Page 5 of this document seems to be a bit more revealing as it talks about the movement of these objects, like Ezekiel. In 18 incidents described in 21 reports, observers reported unusual UAP movement patterns or flight characteristics. Some UAP appeared to remain stationary in winds aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, or move at considerable speed without discernible means of propulsion. In a small number of cases, military aircraft systems processed radio frequency energy associated with UAP sightings. After this, it goes on to explain the 5 categories of a UAP. We currently lack data to indicate any UAP are part of a foreign collection program or indicative. So they have no evidence to say that this is a object from a foreign country. Of a major technological advancement by a potential adversary, we continue to monitor for evidence of such programs given the counterintelligence challenge they would pose, particularly as some UAP have been detected near military facilities or by aircraft carrying the USG's most advanced sensor systems. Here they basically repeat themselves and tell us how evasive these objects are, how pilots have had near misses with some of them, and they will be using machine learning to help investigate them. Oh, and here we go. Increase investment in research and development. You see, they start off with these objects could be a threat. We don't know too much about them, but if we get some money, we may be able to figure it out. So all in all, this document is about money. That's it. The last 2 pages are an appendix. The report is really 5 pages, and I thought this was important. Well, what about this UAPTF, this Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force? The task force was set up to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security. I wouldn't expect anything else to come out of this task force, and the term task force means that this probably won't be an ongoing thing. They will accomplish what needs to be accomplished, and they will have completed their task. And this really only applies to military pilots and bases. It's almost like we are being trolled. But I think what they are doing is setting the stage. They've got Obama out there as some type of spokesperson for the questions people may have about UFOs and aliens, and he answers those questions the same way every time, with jokes about shapeshifters. And see, what will happen because of this is, because of these recent events, people are now probably going to have a hard time denying the existence of these UFOs, because many people still have not witnessed a single UFO a day in their life. And so now the possibility suddenly becomes real. That is what all this does. It creates a sort of new paradigm, or the beginnings of one. And we will know this if things start to escalate from here. So countries all around the world are aware of the United States' change in attitude concerning UFOs. And the UFOs, whatever is controlling them, are aware of this. Now, when it comes to an alien invasion or a hoax, the goal here can only be for the resolution, which to them would be a one-world government. Remember, biblical prophecy hints at such things happening. They have to ramp up the fear first. They first have to establish that UFOs are real. Then they need to identify the threat. Once they do that, they can conjure this hoax. And it doesn't take a bunch of spaceships coming down all around the world. It only really takes one. Not only do they have to identify the threat, they have to identify where the threat is from. Whether that is space, hollow earth, or the sea. I guess we have to wait for them to reveal that to us. What they really want you to do is to jump on board this beast system. What if the alien invasion isn't a hoax? What if, like the Anunnaki, we have angelic visitors disguised as aliens in order to further their agenda? The same agenda they have had since the beginning. And I think they realize that their time is almost up. A lot of attention is on space right now, and I'm just waiting to see what pops up, or should I say, what falls down. There is more to come. Make sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com. There should be another experiment episode up on the site this week, so look for that. Don't let them confuse you with this information. Just be ready for something eventful to occur. And until next time, as always, friends, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.